So let's talk about putting our left hand on the bass. So what we need to start with is a good starting off position. We need to have our right foot, this foot over here. This is a mirror image video, so this is your right hand over here, your left hand over here. The bass should be on this side of you. It should not be over here. So act like you're looking at a mirror image. So your right leg, this one over here, should be flat on the ground. Your left leg should be on the rung of a stool or some kind of chair that's higher up off the ground than just an ordinary chair. You should have a little bit more height so that you can get up to the height of the bass that you need to be. Okay? Now your tapes should be pretty close to eye level. This first finger tape should be pretty close to eye level, and as you remember from the previous video, this is a little bit high, but the edge of the fingerboard, the nut, should be pretty close to your hairline. That's how you know you're in the right position there. Okay? So we're going to start with the shape of a C. Our left hand, we're going to start bringing our elbow out like that and just make a C where our fingers are round and our thumb is kind of near on the other side of our fingers like that. Okay? Act like you're holding a Dr. Pepper or a Sprite or a glass of water or lemonade, whatever a nice drink is for you. So you're going to keep that hand nice and round, and you're going to place your thumb on the back of the bass, on the back of the neck. Now if you look, there should be an X or a little mark on the back of the neck where you will put your thumb, and I think I put one there and one down lower here as well. We're only going to be concerned with this one, and it should be not behind the highest tape, but behind the second highest tape right there. So that's where your thumb is going to live for a long time. Okay? So our hands, if you keep your thumb there and imagine that round drink, our hands are going to be we're going to put our fingertips on the string like that. So it's most important that our fingers are in that round shape, and our wrist is not bent out like that or crushed in where our hand is flat against the bass. We don't want that. So we want a nice little bit amount of space there, and just making that general round shape. Okay? Now if you look at the tapes, I have 6 tapes. Your bass should have 6 tapes. We're going to play only 3 at a time. So this first one, right now, until we get into stuff that's going on later, right now we're only going to be using these 3 tapes at the very top. Okay, so your thumb should be across the second tape right there, and that's where our second finger goes. So not our pointer finger, but our second finger. So your thumb and your second finger are best buds. Your first finger is going to expand and go down on this first finger tape, put on the same string, and it's important that it's on the tip. And then your pinky is going to reach out and place the bottom, the third tape right there. Your third finger between your second finger and your pinky is just going to hang out in between. Let me see if I can get a closer look for you of what that looks like. Okay, make sure it doesn't fall. So your thumb is right behind this second tape right there. That's where your thumb is behind it. Your first and second finger right there. Don't tuck your fingers, but it's easier for me to show you. And notice how it's going. They're going straight down into the string like that. And then your third finger doesn't go on any tape. Your pinky goes to the very last one. So if you were to take your hand away, your hand would be kind of in this shape. These 3 pretty close to each other, and your first finger has a pretty big gap in it. That's because each of these tapes is where a note is, and if you have your finger kind of nearby like this, but it's not actually on a tape, it's not going to sound right. Okay? So starting from the beginning, make sure that your elbow is out. You're going to get that round C shape. Place your thumb behind the second tape from the top, and then place your second finger on the D string. Come back and grab the first tape with your first finger, then add your remaining fingers down here. Now, I am still using my fingertips to hold the string down. I'm not using flat fingers, and I'm also not leaning my fingers to the side. We don't want anything like that. So you want to kind of keep that round shape just like that. Now, if you hold your strings down, you may not be able to get it all the way down to the fingerboard, but if you can, you might hear a little thud whenever the strings hit the fingerboard. Listen. I don't know if you can hear that, but the strings will actually make a sound whenever you place them all the way down on the fingerboard, okay? So that's the most important thing, that your hand is in the right position so that later on, whenever we start doing really fast stuff, you're set up well for those more advanced techniques, okay? Let's take a second and now play through them. Play through this. So your hand is in the good position. First, second, and pinky are on a tape. Third finger's just hanging out. Your elbow's still out. If your arm starts to hurt, that's okay. I'll give you a break in a second. Hold all of your fingers down. Make sure you're on the D string, not G or A or E. The D string right there. And I want you to hold your fingers all the way down with your right hand. Make an L, thumb down. Find the D string. That's the same string your fingers are on. Hold your fingers down and pluck the D string and see if you get this sound. Try it again. Ready, go. One more time. Hold it nice and strong. Ready, go. Good. Now, if you got this sound, that's okay. That thud where it doesn't bum, it doesn't ring, that means your fingers are almost, or your fingers are not quite heavy enough to hold the string down so that it can vibrate correctly. That just comes from doing this more and more and having the hand strength to get it. Now, you probably would be able to get your hand, squeeze as tight as you can, and get an okay sound. But man, that is going to be really difficult to play anything other than one note at a time, ever. Okay? So you have to have your hand in this shape in order to make things easier. You can't play... You can't do that stuff that fast if your hand is not in the right shape. So it is absolutely required that your hand has round fingers on the tips of your fingers and they're on the tapes. Okay? So if you have your fingers hovering, that looks like this. And when you're using your fingers, it looks like this. It's very close.